Some days ago, I visited our village hat, not as a buyer, not as a customer, but as a quiet observer. I walked slowly through the market, letting the noise, the colors, and the people guide my camera. What I captured that day was more than pictures and videos. I captured memories, hard work, and a culture that still breathes in the corners of rural life. As I entered the hat, the first thing that greeted me was sound, loud voices, bargaining, laughter, iron striking iron, and the sizzling rhythm of hot oil. It didn't feel like just a market. It felt like life itself, unfolding under the open sky. One of the most powerful moments was watching the village blacksmith at work. No machines, no buttons, just fire, hammer, skill, and years of experience. I stood there quietly as he heated iron until it glowed red, then shaped it into hand tools with strong, steady strikes. Every blow carried effort, sweat, and knowledge passed down through generations. These tools are not factory-made. These are tools with a human story behind them. As I walked closer, the quiet sound of flowing water slowly mixed with a different rhythm, that familiar clang, clang, clang of hammer striking metal. It's a sound our ancestors heard for centuries, because blacksmithing is one of the oldest professions in human history. From making weapons in ancient civilizations to farming tools in medieval villages, blacksmiths were always at the heart of community life. When I finally reached their corner of the market, the scene was mesmerizing. A small forge burning bright, sparks flying in the air, and 2 or 3 blacksmiths working in perfect rhythm. I watched as they took a piece of iron, heated it until it glowed reddish-orange, and then started shaping it with powerful, steady strokes. Every hit felt like a heartbeat of their craft. They were making all kinds of hand tools, sickles, chisels, knives, hammers. Simple tools, yes, but tools that farmers, carpenters, and villagers rely on every day. I realized how much skill and patience it actually takes to turn raw metal into something so useful. Nothing here is mass-produced. Every piece is handmade, shaped with experience passed down through generations. I sat with them for a while and started a casual conversation. These people, they are incredibly friendly. Their faces were covered in soot from the coal, hands rough from years of hard work, but their smiles were pure and effortless. One of the blacksmiths told me how he learned the art from his father, who learned it from his grandfather. Their family has been doing this work for almost 100 years. Listening to that, I felt like I was sitting with a living chapter of history. And then something unexpected happened. One blacksmith said, "Bye, ekta jingle shuanai." And he actually sang a short, funny jingle he wrote about his daily work at the forge. A simple tune, nothing fancy, but it was filled with innocence and humor.
বলেন উপরে হাওয়া নিচে পানি মাঝখানে আগুনের খনি মানে এটা উপরে হাওয়া নিচে পানি উপরে হাওয়া নিচে পানি মাঝখানে আগুনের খনি এটা কি আপনার নিজের লেখা নিজেই বানাই আচ্ছা আচ্ছা নিজেই বানাই নিজেই তৈরি করি
Everyone smiled, including me. What touched me most was their simplicity. These people don't earn much. They don't have luxury, they don't have comfort. But they have something we often forget: contentment. They wake up, work honestly, talk to people, eat together, and end the day with satisfaction. Just a few steps away, another kind of magic was happening. I walked towards a small stall where a man was frying jalebi in a large iron pan. The oil bubbled impatiently, and into it he piped perfect spirals, golden rings being born right before my eyes. There is a quiet kind of magic in this scene. Even a tired heart learns to smile standing near a jalebi pan. The man frying them worked with an almost sacred patience, as if each spiral carried a piece of his life, his routine, his exhaustion, and his simple joys. I had seen jalebi being made countless times during my childhood, but back then, I never noticed the hands, the heat, or the quiet effort. I only cared about when I'd finally get to taste one. Growing up changes everything. Now I see the people, their stories, their survival stitched between each small everyday task. The river beside the market was calm. The air felt damp but soothing, and sunlight slipped gently through the leaves. If the world ever chooses to be soft, it would probably choose an evening like that. While standing there, I realized something quietly profound. We lose so many flavors in city life, not just the taste of food, but the taste of living itself. But this jalebi? It isn't just a sweet. It's a symbol of village simplicity, one swirl, one bubble, one small joy at a time. The city teaches me the calculations of life. But the village brings back its warmth. Maybe that's why I keep returning. To the river breeze. To the crowded market. And to that unmistakable scent of hot jalebi swirling in the air. As I walked further, I saw farmers selling fresh vegetables, elderly men sipping tea under shade, kids pulling their parents toward toy stalls, and women carefully choosing daily essentials. The village hat is not just a marketplace. It is a meeting place, a storytelling place, and sometimes a healing place. Every face I saw carried a story. Every sound carried meaning. Every stall carried survival. This market doesn't appear in shopping malls. This life doesn't scroll on social media. But it continues, quietly, honestly, beautifully. By evening, the hat slowly returned to silence. Fires dimmed, stalls emptied, and people walked home with tired bodies and full hearts. But something stayed behind, a presence, like an echo of footsteps and voices still floating in the air. This vlog is my attempt to preserve that feeling. To remind us that beauty doesn't always live in new buildings and bright screens. Sometimes, it lives by the fire of a blacksmith. Sometimes, in the sweetness of jalebi. Sometimes, in a dusty village road. If you felt this moment the way I did, you're not just watching a video. You're walking here with me.